Well, we always say that when better fiendish plans are made, Boris Badanov will make them. His latest was to disguise himself and Natasha as inspectors for the electric company.
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watts at your service.
Their scheme was to rob a whole town by cutting the main power line leading to Squaws Ankle, Wyoming, and plunging the town into darkness. And this time, oddly enough, the scheme worked. Back in Squaws Ankle, our heroes noticed immediately that something was wrong.
It's dark.
Pretty shrewd.
Thanks.
It did get late all of a sudden, didn't it?
Yeah. Looks like every light bulb in town went out at the same time.
They don't make them like they used to.
Let's go see what's the matter.
Our boys started off, but unable to see where he was going, Bullwinkle stumbled over a small dog and crashed his antler through a store window.
Are you hurt, Bullwinkle?
Nope, but I'm afraid I bent this window a bit.
What's that wire around your antler?
Don't know. Leads back into the stores.
Here, I'll light a match and hokey smoke.
You're a little young to hokey smoke yet, Rocky. I think...
Bullwinkle, this is no laughing matter.
What's it doing in the dialogue?
Look here.
Sure enough, that wire was part of the store's burglar alarm system. But just then, a familiar figure came on the scene carrying a flashlight.
Oop!
Hey, it's Mr. Wangle, the bank president.
Glad I ran into you, boys.
You didn't. You walked into us.
We got to get to the bank. We're in trouble.
They coming to look at the books?
Even worse. With no electricity, our safe isn't safe anymore.
Not even half safe?
It won't even stay closed.
Uh-oh.
You said it.
Sure enough, when our friends dashed into the bank and shone their flashlights on the vault, the huge door was sagging wide open.
Gee, this must be happening all over town.
Golly, looks like bank night for bank robbers.
It was true. The whole town lay at the mercy of anyone mean and dirty enough to come in and rob it.
And you know who he means, don't you, folks?
The two villains strolled into the lonely outskirts of Squaws Ankle and headed for the first store in town, the Bonton Bootery. Sure enough, the door swung open freely, no burglar alarm sounded, and the two villains were able to slip inside with no trouble at all. And small wonder, for the Bonton Bootery had been out of business for 14 years.
Never mind. It's good practice anyway. Come on.
Meanwhile, back in the middle of town, our heroes were in a dimly lit billiard parlor.
Bullwinkle, I got it.
8 ball in the side pocket.
No, an idea.
Yeah, must have got the wrong cue.
What about our worms?
Yeah, what about them?
Good idea, huh?
Yeah. What about them?
Don't you remember our herd of worms? What do we raise on our ranch? All right, if you insist, we'll flash back.
And Rocky reminded Bullwinkle that when they had been herding their fishing worms underground, lightning had struck the herd and every worm had been supercharged. As a result, they lit up like a lot of Christmas tree lights, which made them very picturesque, but quite useless as bait.
Oh, those worms.
Gee, Bullwinkle, it was only 2 days ago.
Well, I've slept since then.
And where are those worms today?
I give up. Now let me ask you one. Whatever happened to Evelyn Brent?
They're right outside in our armored car, that's where.
Evelyn Brent?
The worms.
Oh.
Come on, Bullwinkle. We're going to use them to protect the town.
These little creeps?
Well, if Rocky has a plan, he'd better put it into action quick, for Boris and Natasha have just turned the corner and are heading for the Hog Breeders National Bank.
Last one into vault is Dirty No Good Nick.
You kidding? I'm always dirty, no good, Nick.
Be with us next time for Just Boris and Me, or the Yeg and I.